that all men have inalienable rights to think freely, to talk freely, to write freely their own opinions, and to counter or utter or write upon the opinions of others.
This is from the Creed of the Church of Scientology. Hey everybody, I'm Holly, aka the Scientology Geek, and welcome to part 18 of the Student Hat series. We're going to be looking at Method 9 Caution. We just went through the 10 steps of properly Method 9ing somebody. And yeah, that's just where we have to pick up on next. We're not going to get through all of the examples of student reactions. I think we're going to get up to part F, and then I'm going to pick that up next time. But if you guys like what I do here, feel free to hit like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, family. Do whatever you got to do to spread the word. God, I feel like a cult leader when I say that. But, oh, and if you want access to any of these documents, whether it's the flag orders, base orders, the policy letters, technical volumes, whatever, feel free to email me at scientologeek@gmail.com, and then I will send you an invite through Gmail to the Google Drive folder that I have, or you can go to the Discord server, link in the description below, and you can DM me from there, again, with a valid Gmail address. So, without any further ado, let's get started. So, we were at Method 9 Caution.
When the word clearer has misunderstoods of his own on the material being word cleared, he tends to go wooden and just sits and does nothing to handle the student.
It reminds me of what happens with the TRs, especially Bulbate becoming, like Chris said, a wooden Indian statue, a wooden statue.
The word clearer must always clear his own misunderstood words, or else when the student stumbles on a word, the word clearer won't even see it or hear it because of his own misunderstoods.
Because somehow, just because you don't understand a word doesn't means that in his case, in Hubbard's case, that you lose all hearing of it. I don't know how that makes sense. I just don't.
He can miss the student's stumble and never get the student's misunderstood word. The word clearer can also miss a student's reactions when he has so much attention on the page that he becomes unaware of the student or doesn't even look at the student. When students are M9ing each other on the same study materials, they do not first just read the materials, as this will only give them misunderstoods. They take the materials being word cleared one paragraph or section at a time and M9 each other on it. This is done by a student first M9ing his twin on one section and then getting M9'd on what he just word cleared his twin on, plus the next section. It then turns around. The twin gets M9'd on what he just word cleared the other student on and on the next section. In this way, one person is not constantly leading. Unless the M9ing reversals are done in this fashion, misunderstoods could be missed. The whole text would be covered in this way. Examples of student reactions and their correct handling. There are many, many different kinds of reactions that can occur when a student passes a word he doesn't understand. There are also many different ways a student will respond to Method 9. All that's needed for success with Method 9 is for the word clearer to understand Method 9 and to apply it exactly according to this bulletin. Given here are some examples of student reactions and correct handlings by the word clearer. A. The student changes a word in the sentence. Example. The page says, "The boy then reached down and patted his dog." The student says, "The boy then reached down and patted his dog." The word clearer says, "That's it. Is there some word or symbol there that you didn't understand?"
Just because you pronounce something differently. In this case, it's such a slight word. Like, I could understand changing entire words in a sentence. I've done that unintentionally, and I'm sure many of you have. This one, it's just a sound. It's not, it's just then and then. Yeah, it can be kind of distinguishable. You can kind of understand them, but if someone has like an accent or something, and it just makes it more difficult to understand if they actually did anything. And is there a point where the word clearer thinks they heard something and they didn't?
The student looks at the word then, boy, and the. He knows those words, so he looks in the sentence before that one. In that sentence, he sees the word collie. He's not sure what that is. He tells the word clearer, and they clear the word collie. B. The student adds an extra word. Example. The page says, "The child went to school." The student says, "The child went to the school."
What difference does that make with the sentence?
The word clearer said, "That's it. Is there some word or symbol there that you didn't understand?"
No, but your brain just happened to fill in what it perceived as a blank in the sentence, and the sentence still makes sense. There's not a problem with this.
The student looks over the sentence. He says he understands all the words, but thinks the sentence should say, a child went to school rather than the child went to school.
That's what he wants to change? Really?
The word clearer says, okay, let's spot check some words. What does the mean in it?
Okay, so you don't know your the, a, and those, I don't even remember what they're called anymore. Schoolhouse Rock, you have failed me. Anyway.
The student looks blank for a moment and doesn't say anything. The word clearer says, all right, we're going to look up the definition of the. The is then looked up and cleared. C, the student leaves out a word. Example, the page says Robert then visited the city. The student says Robert visited the city. The word clearer says that's it. Is there some word or symbol there that you didn't understand? The student reads over the sentence. He can't find anything he doesn't misunderstand. The word clearer asks him to look over the next earlier sentence for a misunderstood word. The student can't find any there either. The word clearer has the student keep looking earlier and earlier in the text, and finally the student spots the misunderstood word in the first sentence of the page. The word found is then cleared. D, the student leaves off part of a word, such as...
Oh, look, I left off A between off and part here. So, does that mean I am using the document? Probably. I don't give a shit. The student leaves off... Now I have to change how I'm saying this.
D, the student leaves off a part of a word, such as an S or an ED at the end. Example, the page says, there's a huge pile of assorted tools in the woodshed. The student says, there's a huge pile of assorted tool in the woodshed. The word clearer says, that's it. You left the S off tools. Have a look over that sentence or page and tell me what word or symbol was misunderstood. The student says, I don't have any misunderstood words on this page. The word clearer acknowledges him and asks him once again to have a look for the misunderstood word or symbol. The student looks over the entire page but still says he has no misunderstoods, so the word clearer starts spot checking the student on the definitions of the words on the page. The word clearer asks, what's the definition of tools? The student says it means implements of work. The word clearer says, that's fine. What's the definition of assorted? The student gives it to him correctly, so the word clearer simply backs up the sentence words one by one, getting the definition of each one until he hits the word was. The student says, it's something you saw with. The word clearer says, let's have a look at was in the dictionary.
I'm sorry, there's a thing. He used it correct, but he has a wrong definition with it. So, I mean, I can understand looking it up in this case, but I know the word was. I know how to use the word was, but I don't know the exact definition of the word was. Like, I can use it in correct context. But if you're this stupid, then you probably need Key to Life.
Each definition of was is then cleared, and it is suddenly discovered that the person has never understood that it had anything to do with the conjugation of the verb to be. E, the student stumbles on a word or says it incorrectly. Example, the page says, I think I'll go shopping. The student says, I think. The student stops after he stumbles. The word clearer says, is there some word or symbol there that you don't understand? The student says, well, it just doesn't make sense. The word clearer asks, what doesn't make sense? The student says, I don't see why it says think here. The word clearer says, all right, let's have a look at think in the dictionary. Think is then looked up in the dictionary, but the student can't seem to get it, even though he understands all the words in the definition. The word clearer asks, tell me, what part of speech is think in that sentence? The student says, I don't know. The word clearer says, okay, well, right here in the dictionary, it says verb. What does that mean to you? Student, The word clearer says, all right. He gets a grammar book and says, have a look at this definition of verb. Verb is then cleared, but while clearing it, the student says, hey, I always thought you could only have one verb in one sentence, and that sentence has two verbs in it. Somebody threw me a curve. And as he is cognited and has now got it straight, M9ing continues. He uses it in sentences until he's really got it. Then they go on to the next definition of think in the dictionary.
So, what have we covered today? Well, we've learned that when the word clearer has misunderstoods of their own, he'll tend to do nothing to handle the student. We've learned that these need to be word cleared, or that the word clearer won't be able to see or hear the student's physiological reactions to misunderstoods. The word clearer needs to have attention on the student and the text. When students are twinning, one student M9s the twin on one section, and the process reverses to make it so the other student's being M9'd. This occurs on the material that was just M9'd, as well as the following paragraph. So for reactions and handling, they're all kind of the same thing. First, ask the student if they can find any MUs, have the student go earlier in the text if necessary. This could include physiological reactions such as changing a word, adding a word. The word clearer may repeat the asking the student and then having the student go back. If the student does find the MU or spot checking if they can't, they may leave a word out. They may leave off part of the word, so you now need to go back in the sentence and define each word. Stumbling and stuttering, same thing. It's kind of all the same reactions for each of these handlings, and it's going to be pretty much the same for the next set of handlings. That is all I have for you today. If you want access to any of this documentation, whether it's the flag orders, base orders, policy letters, technical bulletins, any of that stuff from the Google Drive, feel free to email me at scientologeek@gmail.com, or you could go to the Discord server, link in the description below, as well as the email, and then send me a DM from there, or just chill on the server, join, and say hi. I'd be happy to have you. I will talk to all of you later. See ya.